Now, I started my own business about 2005, and I find myself running this small business, which is very different than the large corporate businesses that I've been engaged with. And I suddenly, as probably every single one of you listening who's running their own business realizes, suddenly the HR manager and you're the sales manager and the marketing manager, and you're trying to actually get the work done at the same time. And I found myself driving to a networking event, and it was like dark, the sun hadn't come up yet. And I walk into this event and I see the same familiar faces I've seen like 100 times before. And I don't know if you've ever been to one of those networking events, but you sit down and everyone takes a turn and introduces themselves for 30 seconds. And it's funny because they suggest that you come up with a different version of your pitch, of your story, your elevator pitch every week. So I'm there thinking about this elevator pitch that I'm going to do, and I'm seeing the person before me about to speak and the person before them speaking, and I start really just thinking about these referrals that I'm about to get, and how one of the recent ones has just got a guy who's gone, oh, I'll just take you to coffee. And he takes me to coffee and picks my brain for an hour, and the $20,000 job I thought was coming down that pipe didn't eventuate, but I just got a $5.50 coffee. I was thinking about another referral that I'd got, who had been told that I'd look after him, and he meant financially. And so I ended up having to cut my prices by half just to look after a friend. And I start feeling a bit sick to my stomach about this whole referral thing, because I'm coming to networking events to get referrals. I get told I'm supposed to build my business through referrals, and I've got these drips, literal drips, just coming through into the business. And it's overwhelming because there's just so many things to do, as you all know. And I'm driving back from there and I'm like, there has to be a better way to do this, because I'm just trying to grab at all these drips and drops of work. And the paper slip that I got from that day was only worth a couple of $100.